o'clock. Before we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, are we recording? Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order, but before we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, I would like to pause for a moment of silence to honor Charlie Kirk, I can't speak, a man who held an unwavering passion for engaging young minds, who believed in the power of arguments and good faith debates to find the truth, and who advocated for his beliefs with conviction. May he rest in peace. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Thank you all for coming. I do need an approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. I'd just like to remind everyone that these board meetings are business meetings held in public, and they are not public board meetings. The board is governed by Idaho Code Title 74 and Title 33, Chapter 5, Idaho Administrative Procedures Act, or IDAPA, and follows the district policies. Now is the time for public input, and we do have one person. Do we have any more?
No.
All right. Anita Dupsik.
Anita Dupsik, community member. Good evening, Chairwoman Thompson, Superintendent Taylor, and Board. Regarding the supplemental curriculum request list, there are 22 videos for review. The sidebar of the recommended videos on YouTube doesn't always align with the video screen, and I'm wondering if that would be able to be minimized or turned off. Is a subscription to YouTube necessary to remove on-screen ads during viewing? I'd like to comment on 3 videos specifically stating I don't recommend them and why. Regarding Making of a Theory, Darwin, Wallace, and Natural Selection by Interactive, and What is Natural Selection? Stated Theory. Both use the word theory and then proceed to continue the discussion as though everything is presented as fact. The videos discuss the culture of chaos and attempt to explain order from chaos. Why are we not also presenting the theory of intelligent design as written in the Bible, for which there is more physical evidence than for any other book on earth? While none of us was around for the beginning of either of these theories, the God of the Bible was. And in Job 38:4, God asks Job, "Were you here when I laid the foundation of the earth?" With these videos, Lakeland is allowing students to be taught that life and everything around us came about accidentally from chaos, not presenting the truth, or at least acknowledging that there is another theory, one that gives hope. What hope is there in saying life is accidental? We see the effects of life of lack of hope on our society today, drugs, mental illness, violence, division, and so much more. Lakeland should be giving students both sides of the story to equip them to think logically, clearly, and be discerning, all tools that will help them beyond school years. I've knocked on doors in 3 of the precincts that make up Lakeland, finding that many, if not most of the families in this district believe in the God of the Bible. Bill Nye the Science Guy, Season 1, Episode 18, Electricity. My concern with this video is misinformation, specifically the discussion of photovoltaic energy being viable and affordable, and the lack of discussion about the environmental and economic impact of this source of energy. I will allow this maybe because of the age of the video. It's from 1993. Yes, this is a very small part of the video, but students deserve to be given all the information to teach them how to make educated guesses. As the adults guiding these students in their education, we must be mindful of all things big and small. It's easy to say, oh, this is just one small thing, but then the next small thing comes along, and then the next one, and one day we say, how did we get here? Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment that didn't make it to the clerk? Okay. Moving into reports, we have the superintendent report. Is there any comment, need for discussion, or input on the superintendent report?
Yeah, what is the house? You said you got put in,
Yeah.
what was that house?
It's the 4 houses that we're being a part of. Jake and I both, you go to the school and they actually have this little turn wheel. They spin it and they have 4 houses, and where you fall is where you're at. And I landed in Ultra Ismo. What was yours? Revere, yeah. So yeah, and that means I'm part of the giving group. So yeah, just all good traits of, you can say that each house you could probably be a part of, but kind of leave it to chance in regards to where you land. So we're really excited about that. The middle school, because they are in the house system, I'm part of that system, but I'm still Ultra Ismo. I guess you can't flip from school to school.
Oh, okay, so
Yep.
it follows you, you're
Yeah, it
always
does.
in that house.
It always, yep, I'm always in that house.
But
Great question.
was that part of, who was the gentleman you said last week, I think?
Ron Clark.
What was it again?
Ron Clark.
Ron Clark,
Yep.
yeah, that's part of that
Yes, ma'am. It's
curriculum?
exactly part of that, 100%.
That was my only question.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions, comments, points of discussion? Okay. Moving on to the assistant superintendent report. Is there any comments, conversation to be had?
No, I don't think I have any.
Either of you?
Yes, I do not.
Okay. Looks great. Thank you for the information. It was very
Absolutely.
informative.
You're making it easy for us.
Thank you.
It's good to have these follow-ups though. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Moving on to the financial report. Do we have any questions, comments, or discussions to be had?
No, I'll wait till we get to the.
So we had originally estimated about $2 million coming in for the property tax relief, but it's actually $4 million, so that's
Trustee
exciting
Dean,
for a taxpayer.
Yeah, Chair Thompson, trustees. Yes, we had estimated, last year we received about 2.3 million from, I'm gonna quote it correctly here, House Bill, or Idaho Code 33911, which is the school district facility funds. It's meant to help pay down bonds, levies, and then if there's anything at the end of that, if the district has any of those on the books, if there's anything at the end, it can go directly to be used for facilities maintenance needs, those deferred maintenance items. We do have a levy on the books, and so we were able to offset $4 million this year, bringing the levied amount down to the taxpayers to $3.52 million instead of the $7.52 they approved on the ballot. The tricky thing with this is it fluctuates from year to year. So the first year we got 1.7, the second year we got 2.3, this year we got 4 million. We all know that the state revenues are lagging behind. The state's already implemented holdbacks in a lot of departments. Public education, thankfully, was exempted from those for this round. So I don't anticipate to get another 4 million next year at this point in time, but it's a great benefit to our community that we're able to have that offset.
When you say the 4 million was to reduce the levy amount, so the taxpayers only liable for the 3.52, so the 4 million like the 4 million was given to the district doesn't
Directly.
like, it's not like a flow through, it's like, oh, here's your 4, oh, but you gotta give it back to,
No,
so
no,
you
no,
pay
no.
off your
Yeah,
levy.
so if you remember a couple years ago, they swept like the bond levy equalization and they swept our school lottery funds.
Right.
Which we were able to use directly for facilities and maintenance, and I'm sorry I keep pointing this way, but Tim's right here, so, it's his department. They swept those, and when they swept those, they put them into this school district facility fund. So they kinda took a little from us here to give it to us there, with a little bit more constraints on how we're able to use it. But yes, we received that directly from the state. We have already received the $4 million deposit. And then when we complete our L2, which is the document that we submit to the counties, to levy property taxes on our behalf, we report that facilities funds on that L2 so that they're not levying more than we're authorized to.
Perfect.
That can only be used for facilities?
No, so this is basically it swaps what the levy was approved for. So if we didn't have a levy on the books, or say they gave us 8 million and our levy is 7.52, the difference we would be able to use directly towards facilities. If we didn't have a levy on the books, that 4 million would have gone directly into Fund 435, which we don't have because we have nothing to put in there, but Fund 435 is specifically for the school district facility fund, if we were able to put money into it. So.
Okay.
So just so the 4 million is not above and beyond, it is in
No,
place
it's in lieu of, yeah,
right.
so it just supplements it basically 3.52 for
Is
supplemental
offset, right.
levy, and then we'll have the offset under other state support.
Yeah.
So
The
you'll.
state paid it rather than our taxpayers paying it.
Exactly, yeah, and there's a whole amalgamation of where those funds come from, some of it's state sales tax revenues, lottery proceeds, things like that, it's a whole jumbled amount,
Right.
that, and I mean, it's based on last year's best 28 weeks of average daily attendance. So in theory, if we got our average daily attendance up more, then we would get a little bit more, based on that share in the future.
Do we get information from the state on where those dollars come from?
Yes.
For lottery, do we have that?
I would have to bring it to you at another meeting. The state did share it with us at our last IASBO SDE meeting, State Department of Education, and Idaho Association of School Business Officials. They have a joint meeting once a month, and so they shared that. I'll bring it
I would
and
love
I'll
to
follow
see that.
up
Thank you.
next
I
time.
appreciate
Yep,
that.
absolutely.
I have no more questions. I just wanted to make sure we clarified so the
Yeah.
public doesn't think we have like
Yeah.
the levy and 4
Yep.
million.
And I did update this information on our district financial transparency page,
good.
so that it reflects the current levy amounts and the current information for this fiscal year.
Great.
Yep.
That's all I had.
Bob, do you have anything?
No.
Okay. You're
Thank
good to
you.
move on? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Then we
No,
have,
probably helps.
moving on to facilities report. Do we have any comments, conversations, etc.?
I have a question. When do you think that all the flagpoles will be up at all the schools?
Tim Hank, Facilities Director, they are actually scheduled to work on them this week
Okay,
and should have them finished next week.
okay,
There was a delay in getting the actual poles from the manufacturer, but
Oh, okay.
they are ready to go.
okay, all right, thank you.
Is all the curbing done that was expected to be done?
So the concrete curbing is done, but they still have to do the backfill of the asphalt. So where they cut the asphalt away from where the new concrete's going, they are actually filling that in with hot mix asphalt, not cold mix.
Okay,
So it'll be flush, they won't have that gap or a tripping hazard.
And with it being hot mix, it reduces the potential of it crumbling
Exactly.
with the weather fluctuations.
Exactly.
We still have the one spot at Lakeland Middle School that we were waiting on the galvanized gutter.
Steel.
Sorry, yeah, steel plate, to go in there, and then we have one spot behind John Brown Elementary that they have to come back and pour.
Report and finish the stairs.
And finish.
Spirit Lake.
Yep, so there's a couple outstanding items, they're just not able to work when students are on site, so we're having to work around that.
Okay.
And I was at Spirit Lake this morning, they got the cheek walls poured, and they, if you go up there, they will look like they're cantilevered a little bit. That's actually per specs.
That's for the stairs.
That's, oh, I'm sorry, that's for the stairs.
For anybody who doesn't know what cheek walls are, like I don't have a clue.
Stem walls, cheek walls, yeah.
The only reason I knew is I saw it today when we were like, that's a little funky.
Yeah. Oh, you're fine.
Another question, what's ever happened, or what's the status of the redesign of the entry over at junior high school and the middle school?
So we're actually still working on that right now. I've met with the chief of police, I've met with ITD, I've met with the locals here, middle school, high school. We're gonna do one more meeting, and the Architects West is finalizing the proposal that we're gonna submit to ITD. So that's fairly close.
We do have to pull some title reports, for
There's
the land, to bring that
4 pieces of property
for
that
part of the permit, so.
corner right out where the middle school sign is. So you've got the track side, you've got the parking lot side, then you've got the right of way for the highway, and I think the city's got something in there too.
So for the permit, we have to pull title reports, and so that we're seeking those now, so.
So what's the projected timeline now?
It'll be next summer.
Next summer.
Yeah.
Then we won't worry about it for now.
It's definitely a process, but good thing is we're
We have
in the middle of it.
Moving through
Yeah.
the process.
working with the city, working with the state, it's been very collaborative.
Yep.
They've been super open to the idea.
Very much so.
Which has not been the case in the past, so we're very thankful that they're looking at this from a student safety perspective, so.
Cool.
I don't have any questions.
I think that's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda, we have the minutes of the previous meeting, minutes of subcommittee meetings to be accepted, the bills lists and HR items. There were a couple of things on the minutes. Problem is I wasn't able to note them, so now I need to find them. On the 8/13/25 regular board meeting minutes, under possible action item for discussion, you have, meeting changes pending lawyer's approval. I think that should just be part of the discussion item, cause there was no action taken.
Yeah, I thought that we were going to discuss it with pending the lawyer's approval if we were going to change it. Because we had to discuss with the lawyer to make sure that there wouldn't be any issues with changing that meeting.
Right, but J is possible action item from discussion. There was no action taken. So that statement, I think, needs to be part of the discussion because it wasn't an action that was taken by the board.
Okay.
We had stated we would find out from legal what we could or could not do.
And we did.
And we did. I think that one was just it. And then on the committee meeting minutes, I had called Sierra earlier. Things have been kind of in flux, I guess is the appropriate word, within policy committee. There have been a few policies that we've touched on and started on but then backburnered, but they've not been on the agenda, and there's not necessarily any notes about where it stands, what it's doing, what not on the agenda, cause you typically in the past, these minutes were, because we're just accepting them, just listed policies. It never identified exactly where we stood on the policy. And I would like to recommend that we, from this point forward, identify what's going on so that policies don't get lost.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, we've lost a few off the agenda and they're not resolved. We're good
Madam
with
Chair.
giving the clerk that direction. Okay.
Madam Chair, just a quick, so you just want to make sure it's listed on there, all the ones that we're working on are in progress, so I'm just trying to understand.
No, what's listed on, picking the 8/13 policy committee meeting minutes,
Okay,
we have 5 policies listed.
okay,
But one of the policies, specifically 4105, patron participation in board meetings, that one was opened and we started on it, but then it got taken off of the agenda
okay.
because there were other priorities.
Okay.
And respecting that there's no manual for this is what you do as in policy committee.
Right.
It caught my eye because I couldn't find it anywhere and I knew I hadn't seen it on the agenda.
Right.
So I called and discussed it with Sierra and she moved it off of the agenda because she put on some other ones.
Right.
Where traditionally in the past, the list just grows. I mean,
Yeah.
things can take
Just keep
priority,
putting it on.
but yeah, it's
Okay.
like you can put them up there,
So I
but
do
don't
understand.
take what hasn't been completed off.
Sounds good.
So,
Thank you for the clarification.
yeah, so my recommendation, and it seems like it's the board direction, is to add a little bit of clarification with, this policy is not resolved, it's ongoing, or something along those lines.
Great
It's
idea.
just a little status update for
Great
each
idea.
one.
Yeah, yeah, that would be great. Okay, did anyone have any questions on the bills list?
On the bill list?
Yes, we're down to
Yes,
that.
I do, as a matter of fact.
Okay, Bob.
We'll give Jessica a chance to get up there. It's pretty fast.
Jessica Grantham, Chief Finance Officer.
We have a bill from, for testing, I assume, that's concrete testing on all the, do you know how many tests were involved for that bill?
A lot. I can give you a complete breakdown in a follow-up, but we have, they're testing every site multiple times depending on the pour.
So obviously that wasn't included in the contract for the contractor?
It was included in what we had put aside for the project. But no, it wasn't included in the bid packet, but we had set aside money for that service as part of the budget for that project.
Okay. Can you clue us in, we've got a $19,000 bill, I think it is from Architects West. What work was included in that?
Give me one moment. We had multiple bills from them. Architects West is doing Timberlake High School Fieldhouse. They're doing the concrete project. And they're also they won the award for all of our school modernization projects. So that 19,000 is actually multiple projects looped in. So part of it's the concrete services, which we're going a little bit over on that based on the extended length of that project. There is liquidated damages built into that contract, so we're definitely in that phase currently with the concrete. So we're anticipating to help offset the additional costs for the architect on what we're saving on the liquidated damages by the project going over and the additional support that the architect
Maybe you
has.
could give us a follow-up breakdown of that,
Yep.
if you wouldn't mind.
Yep.
Yeah, when could we just add that to the
Yep.
bill breakout list?
Absolutely.
Going forward on when there's several different projects that are listed on that.
There's going to be several different
Okay.
projects for a while. Yep.
Well, we're paying them a lot of money, so I think we need to know what it's
Yep.
for.
Be happy to break that down for you.
We have a bill for 31 Dell Optiplex. I assume that's computers. Where are they going?
All over the district, they're replacing teacher computers. They're at $483 each, I think is what it came down to.
So they're replacing older models, is that
Mhm.
right? And what happens to the old ones?
Depending on if we're able to surplus them through surplus sale, IT will wipe them and surplus them that way, send them to auction essentially. Sometimes they keep them for parts, so that they're able to just repair stuff in-house instead of having to send them out. But most of them are an obsolete technology at this point, which is why they're being replaced.
I haven't noticed in the past, is this a routine rotation?
Yeah.
About
So we're
30 a year?
You'll see some more in the coming months because as we are coming back and we're recognizing that some need to be replaced. We didn't do a big student replacement this year, which actually was a topic of conversation. We very fortunately with the ESSER funds, we were able to do a lot of stuff to buy our existing computer fleet. We were in the process of replacing about a fifth of that student fleet a year. We didn't do that last year. The cost to replace about a fifth of the fleet is $500,000 to get it done. So Chad just wants to make sure that we're aware that as those start falling off because they're out of warranty now, that fifth of the computer fleet, that we're probably going to incur a little bit more expenses because we're not able to just send them in for warranty repair now. We're gonna have to pay for repairs on them.
So do you have, for example, the 31 that this group has replaced, do you have any idea of the age of those outgoing computers?
I can follow up with our IT director and bring that back for follow-up at the next meeting.
We pay a lot of money. I noticed there's a bill this month for fat beating for $20,000.
Mm-hmm.
It says August. Is that a 1 month bill or an
Yep.
annual bill or what is it?
That is a 1 month bill. That is for our wide area network and our fiber internet for the district. We receive part of that reimbursed through E-rate reimbursements and the rest comes from the state broadband. So even though we're paying the money out, we end up getting all of the money back in via E-rate and state broadband dollars.
Yep.
It's part of our E-rate contract for that one.
How difficult would it be for you to compile a report that shows all the funds that we expend for technology and or communication on an annual basis?
How far back?
For a year.
On an annual
I'm
basis.
sorry, I just, annual, but I could go, do you want 5 years or do you just want 1 year
No.
data?
I'm looking for, if you wanna go back 12 months, that's fine, or
Okay.
whatever you anticipated being this year. I'm trying to get a fix on how much money we're spending for technology
Yeah.
and related issues.
And it's going down this year, because that was part of the budget cuts, some of the stuff with technology, they lost positions, but we're moving more to Fund 245 and out of the general fund. So I'll just, when I'm doing that comparison, I'll tell you what fund it came out of, whether it was general fund or if it's coming out. Like all of our Skyward, which is our student ERP system and our finance and HR ERP system, that's now coming out of 245, where previously it came out of the general fund. So we're making those shifts this year. So you'll see more of that routine yearly stuff come out of that state technology money versus the general fund this year.
Well, you can make that a part of the report if you'd like, as to what funds actually are used to make those purchases.
And then I'll probably also include on there whether or not E-rate is reimbursing any portion of that project. Because a lot of the projects that we do for technology, like the wireless access points that we're currently doing, that's being reimbursed partially by E-rate dollars.
Well, we're spending huge sums of money
Yes.
on technology, and I think it'd be good for the board to have a broader picture. We get the monthly bill and then you kind of forget what we spent last month and we're gonna do in this month.
Yep.
We can get it on a yearly basis.
So I definitely can create that for you, and then I'll just, like I said, mark how it's being funded.
Good,
So.
good.
I would also, just, if you could do, last school year and the school year before.
So the last 2 fiscal years.
Correct.
Yep, I can do that.
Is that gonna include all the subscriptions we have too?
Mhm.
If it
It
is
should.
coded to technology and communications, yes, some of those are coded to instruction and curriculum. So, if we do present curriculum as a report in the monthly financials. So there is a curriculum report for things that are charged directly to curriculum.
Mhm.
But for technology and communications, some of those things aren't charged there because they're a curriculum expense instead of a tech or comm expense. So, I do have an updated curriculum report in the monthly financial report that was presented tonight. So you're able to see at any time what is being purchased for curriculum.
I have one more question, and that's related to utilities. What's the status of the situation over at Lakeland Middle School with the sewer charges?
We're working on getting those reimbursed. We had to get a statement from the company that came out to say essentially that it wasn't something inside of the building, it was outside of the building. So I have a reminder on my calendar to follow up with the city on that. I had already presented all the information to them. I was just waiting on a response and haven't.
Are you gonna have to negotiate with the city over those bills?
I certainly hope not.
They
have a policy on it on how much they're willing to do. Usually they look at the highest month's bill and give you half of that back.
Oh, that's still way high though.
I would agree.
You know, you pay 10 grand a month for a sewer charge and you only get 50% of it written off, you're still paying 5, which is 5 times greater than the high school bill is. So, from my perspective, as this board member, that's not acceptable.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll do our best.
I have to work through their channels on this, and if that's their city policy, I mean, I can request an exception to that, but I don't have anything to stand on to make them change their city policy.
Well, then I guess I would request that once you get where you think you are going to end up, then you bring that back to us so we can take a look at it.
Okay, no problem.
How many schools are serviced by North Kootenai Water District?
I will have to double check. I don't know that off the top of my
I
head.
think it's only Twin Lakes Elementary.
Garwood is probably on North Kootenai.
Garwood might be, I can't remember.
It's Garwood. I'll double check for you to have an accurate statement on that.
Okay, it just, $7,000 seemed a bit high.
They had a rate increase at North Kootenai Water District. Their rates went up a lot. I actually am a member of North Kootenai Water District, and I wanted to cry this summer when I got my water bill. So the rate increase is definitely impacting our schools in those zones.
I'm a member too,
Yep,
so
so you know.
I'm
You
aware
know.
of their increase. It's just that seemed a bit outrageous.
Yeah, so that $7 now over, it's $7.69 or something like that. If you go over a certain amount of gallons, it adds up really quickly.
Especially in the summertime when irrigation is going.
Exactly.
Okay. Does anybody have any further comments, questions, concerns on the bills list?
Nope, Bob hit all mine. I think it would be good if the board could have, and I've requested this in the past, we don't know what the inventory looks like, you know, when it comes to technology, so there's no way for the board to look forward and say, oh, well, we need to understand that, you know, in 6 months we need 150,000, in 2 months we need 30,000, and I know I've asked for that several times. It'd be great if we had that, just so it'd help us plan better when we know there's a huge chunk of money, you know, that we need to keep in the back of our head that's going out the door.
Yep. I know Chad has that depreciation schedule essentially for that, so I will make sure to, I can include it as a monthly report in the financial reports if you would like.
Yeah, or just you know, I'm sure he's got a rotation, like you're saying, but of every, you know, I don't know if it's by building or by, you know, how he, but just if we had you know, an overall picture of what's coming, it would help us.
Usually it's the life of the computer. I mean, that's
Yeah.
really good. There's
The useful life.
Yeah, the useful life of the computer, and usually what I've seen is anywhere from 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, well, that depends on the person. It would be good, I mean, yeah, it would be good just to have, or do we do it just based on what the warranty is, or, you know, do we do extended warranties, you know, cause to re-up the warranty at $300 a year for Dell is a lot cheaper in some instances than, you know, buying a brand new machine, as long as it's compatible with other stuff. So it would I'm just curious, it would be great to be able to see that.
Just a quick recap. I'm adding the Architects West bill to the monthly bill breakout and then providing you an update on the ones that were on this month's bill list. I'm getting you the information on what computers and where they're being replaced and the age of the computers being replaced for that 31 for the Dell. I'll make sure to include that on the bill breakout because I know we had 2 more purchases since that one. We'll compile a report for tech and communications for the last 2 fiscal years. And that'll include what was purchased and what fund it was purchased from and whether or not we received reimbursement on it. For utilities, you would like me to bring the City of Grafton Lakeland Middle School resolution to you before we sign off on it. You want to know what schools are on North Kootenai Water and Sewer District, and then you want to
It's only Twin Lakes. There's only 1 meter on this, the utility bill.
Okay.
Garwood is on Gem State.
Okay. And then tech inventory list. Did I catch them all?
Just one more quick thing on
Okay.
the report. Instead of showing 25-26 and 26-27, could we have 24-25 and 25-26 so we can compare to the year before instead of the nothing of the year
For
coming
utilities.
forward? Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the reports that I do not prepare, but I will work on getting that updated.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further on the bills? No. Okay. Moving on to the HR items.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yes, thank you,
very
Jessica.
much.
Thank you.
We have the HR memo. Do we have any conversations to be had on this? On the HR memo?
No. And I do, but I guess we cover it under the, position control, let's see, I think that's where, or no, it was the, okay, it has its own item, no, I don't have any questions on the memo.
I'm good.
Good. And I am curious, Brooke, when we hire someone for an extracurricular, is it their teaching application that comes back to us, or is it a new application that they've filled out for the position they'd like that's extracurricular?
Brooke Cunningham, Director of HR.
Uh-huh.
No, they have, if it's been posted internally, district-wide, and externally, they have to apply for the position. As you know, further down in my memo, there's been a change as far as in building. And in that case, all they had to do previously was just send in an email of interest. But now we are going to require that they at least open it up internally, district-wide, and then there'll be an application for that position on file.
Okay. One of the positions that were hired, the person has absolutely no experience, so I was curious,
Right.
how we got there.
And it was due to that previous practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which we changed.
All right, on that note, is there any further comments or discussion on the HR items?
Nope.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yummy.
Favorite.
I can't speak tonight. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Okay, moving on to new business. We have the position control adjustment that's being requested. Looks like we need to add an additional elementary teacher and 2 additional bus aides to assist with the sped routes. And you want to add back the assistant transportation supervisor. Okay. I'm just curious, when we went back to the community with the reduced amount for the levy, we specifically stated we were taking 500,000 out of the already over budgeted transportation department. Have we done that?
That is what is budgeted at this time, and Chair Thompson, what I'd like to remind the board with transportation, they're kind of their own consideration because we do receive a reimbursement from the state. And so the more our expenses go down, the more our reimbursement from the state goes down. So it's kind of a double-edged sword in the fact that we do cut $500,000 out of the budget. We're also going to see a similar, not as high of a reduction, but we'll see a similar reduction in the amount that we're receiving from the state in our transportation reimbursement. So yes, we did with the routes that we cut, which we've had to add one back, and then add some additional stops. We've added one of these bus aids is to help with one of those sped routes that we're adding back in. So we've had to add some things back. With drivers, we do get a 50% reimbursement. This transportation assistant supervisor, we will get a 50% reimbursement from the state for their salaries and benefits. So it's a little bit different than some of our other general fund items that we can take the transportation revenue and offset it directly against the transportation department to help show how much above and beyond what we're receiving we're spending. There is an inherent cost to the district because it's not 100% reimbursement from the state.
No, I understand, but we had budgeted $1 million, then we had to go ask the public for another $1 million, so then it was at $2 million. So then we scaled it back to 500, we scaled back the $1 million ask to 500,000. And so we're at $1.5 million, and I'm just curious, what did we reduce cost-wise
So
in?
I had budgeted not knowing what the board was going to approve for routes this year. Based on that July board meeting, which we typically usually do in August, we did a little bit earlier. I had budgeted some extra driver positions in there just to make sure that if we decided to reinstate more, we had the positions available in position control. It's the only place really in position control where I had a little bit of leeway just because I wasn't 100% sure what direction we were going to go with routing. So with that, I'm trying to pull it up. I can't quite do it fast enough. I can give you exactly what we budgeted this year for transportation.
Just to further expound upon this, because obviously I've been dealing with transportation along with Jessica. We've just seen, we're trying to be very careful in adding those positions back to respect the board's request in regards to the cuts. If we're adding them back, it's because we've tried to figure out every way possible to meet the needs of a particular route. Safety issues in regards to that. Apple's been a big discussion. I think we've done a really good job in that sense, and then we had a special ed route that we had to add so we could combine it. So again, we're really trying to respect that. When it comes to the assistant transportation supervisor with athletics, knowing that how important it is with athletics, you know, we felt after speaking, we met with the athletic directors, we felt like we were meeting their needs. And so that was one of the reasons that we wanted to add the assistant directors so that you could have a direct point of contact and hopefully meet their needs in a much more efficient way. So that was one of the reasons that we were able to look to add this position back with trips and answering their questions. And
Well, I'm just curious because it was the transportation department that stated they could, that was a position they were willing to cut, that they could work without it. Bottom line is we are supposed to have reduced the transportation budget by $500,000. I don't know if we've done that. I mean, what was brought to the board, it has fluctuated, so it's really hard to understand.
Right.
Initially, it was 11 routes that would be cut, and the assistant supervisor position, but now we haven't cut those 11 routes. We've moved things around, which is great because we're trying to be more efficient, and I think that should always be our goal.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm just trying to understand, how did we reduce the $500,000 if we're putting it all back? So,
We reduced routes by 9 routes. They reduced 9 routes.
but then they added them back.
We added one back.
One
Yeah,
back.
one
We're
back.
We
adding
only
one
did
back.
that one.
And we added just extra stops to those routes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all we did, yeah, we
Okay.
added one back, yeah. The majority of the cuts, from what I understand, again, I wasn't here,
So 8.
was with dealing with
Okay.
staff.
Mhm.
And so we
So from 11
we
to
haven't
8. Yeah.
hired
Okay.
those people back, we're hiring one
So-
bus driver back.
And if you, later on this evening, when we get into the transportation comparison, you will see, one of the directives that we received is to try and be more efficient with our routes and hit more of that 1.5 miles in between stops, in order to
Mhm.
be more efficient and be able to pick up more. And you'll see with what we did, how Jessica prepared that information, that we followed exactly what the board asked us to do on that, to try and create these efficiencies so that we could take off some of the routes. It hasn't been without its pain points. It hasn't been without shuffling some stuff off onto other departments. For example, our accounting specialist has taken on all of the trip billing for transportation, with them losing that assistant transportation supervisor. So if we were able to reinstate that, I could take that off of her plate and allow her to do more of her job. There's a lot of benefits that in the last 6 months we realized, especially with the route cuts and having everyone re-register this year. Our activities directors, there's been some frustration there because with one person doing 2 jobs, it was not working in a way that we were serving our students appropriately and getting back to our community in a timely manner. So it has become very apparent, and especially with this person leaving now, that we need that additional support over there.
Where did the board give all of this directive? What meeting was that? All these specifics that I keep hearing, cause I don't remember that. So I would like to be re-informed with that, because it keeps coming back to doing what the board asked, but I don't remember the board being so specific, like with the 1.5 thing. Did we ask for that? Did we ask the transportation department to cut everything that wasn't within 1.5 miles?
It was done to reduce the budget by that. That was part of what they chose to do to reduce that 500,000.
Right, but that
we
didn't come from
agreed to
from the
it.
board.
She's saying we didn't make up this.
Yeah, cause it keeps coming back, the board asked for this, the board, but I don't remember us saying, hey, look at 1.5 miles and cut all that at 1.5 miles. I mean, we could have, but I don't remember that. My only thing is I know that without the input of the community and without the input of the board and fully understanding what was happening, and obviously the district also, we found a lot of things that just aren't working. So we have to find a way to make them work, and the busing is pretty bad for those that live out far. The further out they are, they have a little bit more of a debacle, even with the activities bus being cut out in Apple. So
One of the things in dealing with parents, and I dealt with 4 of your parents directly, called them directly, discussed with them what we could do when we couldn't resolve. One of the things that we really were trying to do in all this is, what I asked for was patience. Let's run the routes, let's see what it's like, and then we can read and adjust. And that's really the response. After we ran the routes, after we tried it without the assistant supervisor position, we've determined, look, the most necessary thing we need, and we're coming to boards with this in regards to, we need these areas to really boost up our transportation. And I think more importantly is, I think the cuts overall, we can sustain with these additions, and that's a nice thing. We're gonna save the district money, but we're also gonna be better at what we do.
Yep, so are you telling me that we can add back vintage 95 and
Yes,
Homestead?
that is actually being added back. I apologize, I need to grab my notes on that.
Well, thank you for doing that. I so appreciate you doing that.
I'm
Cause I understand the patience, but, you know, looking at them too, it's like, they still have to go to work every day and
That's
try
right.
and figure,
Absolutely.
so I get the patience thing, and they did say that you guys were really great talking to, but there wasn't a resolve to it. So thank you for that. I appreciate that very much.
Jessica Diener, I'm gonna give her all the
100% of
kudos.
the credit on that.
Yeah, well, I
So-
thank you, Jessica. I wish she was here, but thank you, Jessica.
So we're adding back the Vintage and Homestead stop, once an additional driver is hired. So we have that route open. We had someone slated to take that route. Another driver submitted their resignation. We have to honor the existing routes right now, so we're slotting that new driver into that
Okay.
spot. still have it open to fill. The other areas that we're adding back in, we're reinstating Lupin and Old Highway 95 and creating a centralized stop at Silver Meadows, reinstating Diagonal and Ice House, and Diagonal and Hunters Grove. And then at Twin Lakes Elementary, we're reinstating the Massive and Spire stops, 2 diagonal addresses, and the Hunters Grove spot. That starts, that specific one for Twin Lakes Elementary starts on the 22nd, because we're just adding it to Route 11.
Okay.
So the new driver that we're hiring is allowing us to do some preschool routing with it, some sped routing, and then we're able to take care of these additional Timberlake High School, Timberlake Middle School issues that we're facing.
So we're
Awesome.
combining,
Thank you.
we're
Yes.
trying to save money, we're bringing the two
Yeah.
together. Cause we're gonna have to run the sped route anyway.
Right.
Why not put students first and pick up those.
So we're
students.
maximizing it in every place that we absolutely can.
Yeah.
So while trying to keep the budget cuts in mind. So the difference between what we received in reimbursement last year from the state and what we spent was the $500,000. We actually budgeted to be $300,000 less than that. So because the revenue that we received last year was a little bit higher with the change in legislation, they released about $7.5 million. And since we're one of the largest districts from a transportation perspective in the state, we receive a huge amount of the transportation reimbursement from the state. Our mileage is so much more compared. I think, and I'm gonna quote her wrong on this, I think Coeur d'Alene is 81 miles,
Yep.
and we're
Yeah,
450 miles.
Yeah.
So it's a significant amount of roads that we cover with transportation.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think I heard you say you're receiving some additional transportation revenue this current fiscal year.
Yeah, so we'll realize some of that additional revenue this year. And I'll bring that to you as well when I bring you the breakdown of the school district facilities funds. They also gave us a breakdown of what changed legislatively to give us back that $7.5 million into the state transportation fund to help offset some additional costs. So.
Right off the top of your head, you don't remember.
I apologize. I
That's
usually am
all right.
spot
That's
on
all right. I
with the
know
stuff,
it's
Bob.
been
I'm so sorry.
Jessica, the 125,000, that's for the requested positions under consideration. Is that just for the 2 additional bus aides and the assistant transportation supervisor?
So
Does
it's
that
the
include
elementary teacher, the bus
teacher?
aides, and because we're repurposing a driver position, I didn't need the full cost of reinstating that assistant transportation supervisor. So we'll be able to cover all of it. A good portion of the bus aides were already covered. I just needed like an hour for one of them. So it's not a huge additional ask because I had some budget within transportation to work with. So that's why the number's a little bit lower. We had some pre-built-in salvage there.
Okay. So the 125 is just for the teacher and 2 bus aides?
Yeah, and the small amount that I need to offset the difference between the assistant transportation supervisor and the full-time bus route driver.
Okay.
Oh, so that 125 is a combination of.
All of it,
them.
all of it.
That's the
To
total
what
cost.
degree they need the money?
So the
Yes.
125 is the net amount, not the gross amount of all of the positions that are being asked. Does
It
that
does not.
include reducing it by the 105,000 that we'll get in additional salary-based apportionment?
No,
Okay, so that would come off of the 125,000.
and that doesn't.
So we really only need 20,000 extra.
And it doesn't include the 50% reimbursement we would get from the state for those positions. So.
Okay.
I move to
it's-
approve.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, board, we appreciate it.
I have one question. Can you, give us in writing, just so we have a cheat sheet to go back to? I see the positions are reimbursed at 50%, but our overall is reimbursed at 85, is that correct?
So
Or-
like our mechanics are reimbursed at 85, but all the other positions are reimbursed at 50. There's a lot of work in the state legislature right now and within like the State Department of Education to try and redo how we get.
Make it a little more simpler?
Make it simpler, and actually
Consistent.
consistent and increase the amount that we're getting reimbursed for our drivers. They recognize that it's really hard to hire drivers. It is really hard to hire drivers. And so they're trying to do everything they can to help support us through the funding that we receive so that we can retain the fleet that we need to get kids to school. So
Safely.
safely.
Yeah, it would just be nice if we had, even if there's somewhere online where we can go and find the breakout of reimbursement.
Yeah,
so that
I
we
will.
can-
I can bring that to you too.
Okay.
It's not a fun one. Chelsea does that calculation every year, which is another thing we would like to send over to them to do, and then we would review and submit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's convoluted.
Like all of it, right?
Yeah.
Never straightforward.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Moving on to the alternative authorization.
Killed the mouse.
The mouse. It's still warranted.
So Brooke, is this alternative authorization basically sitting in the wings should the teacher not pass this Praxis exam? Or
So, well, what that alternative authorization allows is for him to be on this all auth for just 1 year, and he has to pass that praxis within this 1 year. If he doesn't pass the praxis, principal needs to make a decision. We're probably either not gonna rehire him, or he is gonna have to enter a program and then be on a 3-year alternative authorization.
well, okay, but I guess what I'm saying is if he passes it, does he need to go on the alternative authorization?
So if he were to pass it right now, he would not. I'm just asking for this as a safeguard in case he doesn't, because there's already been an attempt,
Okay.
and so.
So it is sitting in the wings, but should he pass it? Because the way I read what was written is it's implied that he's getting ready to take it, and that if he passes it.
Then we're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it fair to assume that this gentleman has biology in his coursework background?
You know, I would have to, I mean, as far as transcripts, that's not what he went in to do. He went in to do, I believe, history. And so we ended up, what had happened was biology, finding a biology teacher these days. I don't know why it's hard. I like science, but apparently other people don't. And so it's been very difficult to hire a science teacher. We had this position open for quite some time. And he, I guess, apparently interviewed in another position. They liked him as far as being a good fit in climate and culture, everything else they knew through other things as well. They interviewed 2 other candidates, and those 2 other candidates didn't meet the criteria. So they decided to go ahead and go with this individual, and it was a very late hire.
Well, you understand the premise for my question.
Yes.
You know, if you're gonna put a man in to teach biology, you ought to know something about birds. and
Correct.
bees.
Correct.
And, you know, if he's had some coursework but never completed it as a minor or a major, that's one thing.
His minor is biology.
It is?
Yeah, major history and minor biology.
Okay. That was.
Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yep.
Any other conversation, questions, comments?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. The THS video board agreement.
Jessica Grant, I'm the Chief Finance Officer. I worked with SDCU, pulled up the Lakeland High School agreement, and tried to crosswalk and mirror them exactly. So that is the attachment that you see tonight, is that updated one that should. And
The effects of termination do not read the same as Lakeland. I'm sorry. And my concern is what we're saying in this current effects of termination is in the event this agreement is terminated by the school district or SDCU for the reasons set forth in section 9, the license to use the SDCU mark shall immediately terminate, and the party shall return all property or information of the other party as soon as reasonably possible. In the Lakeland agreement, it specifically states that if, let me pull it up because I don't want to speak incorrectly. It's, the language is different and it's not as rigid, so, no, that's not what I want. The effects of termination on the Lakeland agreement reads, in the event this agreement is terminated by the district, the school district or STCU for the reasons set forth in section 9, the license to use the STCU marks shall immediately terminate, and in the case of termination by STCU for breach of the school district shall return the equipment to STCU. So right there, that's not in the other agreement. And the school district shall be responsible for paying STCU prorated fees of 6A. So they're not asking for the fees, which is fine, but the thing is in here, it's if STCU for breach, if STCU determines that the school district breached for some reason, then we have to return it. But if the school district determines that STCU breached, according to the way it's currently written, we have to give everything back. Okay, so that's my cause for concern, is it's kind of just a blanket. If we terminate, then everything goes back. That's not how it's written in the Lakeland contract. That's why I asked for them to be mirrored. Because there were some favorable things in Lakeland's contract that it just didn't seem to be in the other one. It seemed to be more blanketed and boilerplated.
Can I amend my recommendation?
Sure.
If I can get STCU to update that one to match exactly what Lakeland High School said, would the board approve it tonight so we can move forward with the installation of the video board, if that is the only thing that needs to be fixed?
I'm good.
Conditional approval.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
One question before we get to that. What's the significance of the color on the indemnification clause?
It's no significance. I just struck it and reminded STCU that it was also struck in Lakeland High Schools. I just had highlighted some of the changes.
So that language is not included?
It is not included, no. So it is struck.
So I will move to approve conditionally the STCU agreement, provided we can get it to mirror the Lakeland agreement.
Specifically the termination, right?
Part 9C.
9C, right?
Yep.
So we can be specific.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Once it's complete, I'll make sure to give the copy to the board so that they
Thank
can
you.
see that's been updated.
I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate your willingness to be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
You can upload each one to Grok and ask them to show you the difference, and
Yeah.
they will.
I thought I had caught everything, so I apologize.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine, you read, it's not like you don't read enough words and numbers all day.
What?
We got more coming.
All right, so we have the SIP, the data and curriculum, so the SIP approval.
I was a little lost on some of those numbers.
Yeah.
Were you? Some of them were, the 3% were pretty easy. And then I thought, how did we come up with the numbers again for the, like 6th grade and 8th grade for the, achievement metrics?
Yeah, absolutely. Jake Massey, Assistant Superintendent. So last week when we met during the workshop, one thing that was clarified to me from the board was that we wanted to identify next year's goals based on following the cohort.
Right.
And so what was originally proposed was 3% growth just last year to this year. And so I actually went back and found and recalculated all of those percentages.
Okay.
So for example, the 8th grade target for the end of this school year is based off of how our 7th graders performed last year.
Okay.
So these numbers
Makes
should look
sense.
very different than what we saw last
Yeah.
week
Okay.
because they're all refreshed.
Okay.
Alrighty. That's what I thought maybe you did, but I wasn't gonna add all those numbers and
Sure,
find the
yeah.
average and then add the 3.
Yeah, I went through all of
Okay.
those, and 3% was still the benchmark for growth.
Mhm.
So whatever the percentages for the goal, our actual performance should have been 3%.
Okay. Thank you for doing that. That is
Awesome.
appreciated.
Yes. Thank
Yeah,
you
oh,
very
I was
much.
happy to.
I did have a question though. The mission statement, did we revise our mission statement? Because it says the mission of Lakeland Joint School District is to maximize student learning. Every student learning every day academically, social, emotionally, and behaviorally in every environment. That's not on the district's website.
That was the previous one.
Yeah.
That's
Please
very
excuse
old.
me. So
Wow,
I
way
went
to
to
go
the,
back.
so really digging through the history there. No, I went to the last SIP plan, or what I believed was the last SIP plan, and took the
Okay.
language right from there. And so
Okay.
it is very possible I just went back too far.
Okay.
I'm happy to check that out.
Yeah, if you can just correct that before you submit it, that'd be grand.
You got it. If I can make a quick note, and I put this in my description, board agenda item request as well, but I am still confirming with the guidance counselors at the high schools. Those should be accurate numbers. I'm pretty confident in them, but we're also, I just want to give the disclaimer that I'm doing another double check this week before I submit.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
And if you find there's a difference, will you just send us an email and let us know? Okay.
Absolutely.
I'll move to approve with the correction as noted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you, Jake. Moving on to the supplemental curriculum, which is why you're still standing there.
Not just
He's
for
like,
me.
I'm not going anywhere. You're stuck with me.
Or you can just sit down and get back up, Jake.
I could, it is convenient.
With all the videos that are being requested to be approved, are these all for, high school?
Yes.
Okay. In future, can you just identify that on the list? I mean, I assume it is, but
This is,
I don't know.
Yep, high school science.
this is high school science.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, it says that on the sheet.
Where does it
Right
say
here,
Yep.
right here.
Let's do it.
It says various videos,
Oh.
high school science.
Okay,
Yeah, in the
there's-
middle. Yep.
Okay, gotcha, alright. Cause I'm looking at the videos and. it doesn't say-
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed it too.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
the reason for that is I try to take, our staff are really, really good about putting lots of personal identifiers in there. And so I try to take those out before it goes out to the public, and so.
That's fine, that's fine, and then the, let's see, did I mess that up? have any conversation on what's being presented? Wait, I do have a quick question. Where are we on our biology curriculum? Like, when was the last time we approved new biology for high school or physical science?
Boy, that's a very good question. I don't know the exact date, but I know that it has not been within the last 4 years. And so it has been a little bit of time. I would be happy to follow up with you though and give you the exact last adoption.
Okay. The videos that are 28 minutes, 32 minutes, do we know, 23 minutes, do we know if the students are expected to sit and watch the entire video, or is it segments from the video to enforce what's being taught?
I believe that it's segments from the video. I don't believe that it's the video in its entirety.
Okay.
But the way that it's presented for approval is that we're presenting to give the teacher autonomy to use up to the whole video.
Okay.
So I don't believe it's being planned to be used that way.
In 2023, we had very minimal bill, so it was probably some kind of digital something or other, Caxton.
Okay.
Biology curriculum for $2256.87, so $2,256. I imagine that was some kind of, sounds like a subscription or some kind of digital
Right.
something that's obviously not a full book. That's the only thing I find.
Yeah, could have been workbooks or consumables
Yeah,
that goes with the curriculum.
yeah, so that was the only,
You said in 22, 23?
on October 23 bill list on the board, to the board, there was something, marked as, biology curriculum from the company CAXTON.
Yep.
So that's the only thing I'm finding labeled as such, it could have been under something else, who knows? Could have been just a company name and then,
Yep. Yeah, I appreciate that.
but yeah, so that, and I think that goes back to 2012, I think, board book does this.
Mm-hmm.
I think before that was all still paper. So I guess my other question is, like we heard earlier, why don't we present, and maybe you don't know because you're not teaching this, all theories to the students, or is this just something that goes with the particular curriculum they're using, or, as far as biology?
I can tell you with a lot of confidence that we don't, even though I don't teach it, we don't ever put our teachers in a position to make a judgment call about one theory over the other. We
Sure.
really stick very close to what the Idaho content standards dictate that we teach.
Mm-hmm.
And so, off the top of my head, I can't recite those for you.
Sure, yep.
But I would say that really is our one guiding principle that we have, is what are we required to teach per state law,
Mhm.
essentially, and we stick very closely to that. And so any supplemental resources that we're asking for are definitely not intended to pull one theory over another. It's just because we feel like we need some supplemental tools to support the teaching that's happening in the classroom.
Yeah, I think encouraging the presentation of all theories is not a bad idea. I think it's a really good idea. I don't want to not approve this one because that's not also included, but at the same time, I would like
Sure.
that to be encouraged.
Sure.
I don't think I have any questions. It was funny to see Bill Nye, my kids always watched Bill Nye on Science Guy, and then to find out he's not a scientist, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. He's just a science guy, he's not a scientist.
Twice said science guy, once said scientist, yep.
I was like, what do you mean? We watched all his videos.
Yeah, he looks like a scientist. I move to approve as presented.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, there is a group out there that works with teachers in the public education to help present all theories. Maybe I'll find their information and pass it along. Cause it is, I can see it being a little different for some people,
Next is the Custodian of Records Handbook. What is our electronic document management system?
It would be the drive.
The Google Drive?
I don't know how expensive it is, but there is software. I know there's an Request is a really good one. That's the one that we use at the city.
Yeah.
For records requests and, but again, cost.
Oh, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And then I guess I'm trying to, consider fee waivers if request meets criteria for public interest and financial hardship. I could be mistaken, but I thought the only time we would waive a fee is if it were due to a financial hardship.
No, it's actually in law, I believe, that there's a few circumstances that requires.
Okay.
Where is that at?
On page 8.
Right, but I mean, where's the law, so you can look at the statute?
Yeah, it's
I would say throughout this, wherever Idaho code dictates how, when, where, and why, that it be identified. Because I know that there's some that are referenced in the legal compliance.
I'd have to pull the exact statute for it, but
Should be cited on our actual policy also.
right.
policy references here.
One thing that I didn't find in here that the board has repeatedly championed is that if we don't have a document to meet the request, we're not creating a document to meet the correct request, because that has happened in the past and has caused significant problems. And so, because, if someone calls in or writes in and fills out the form and says, I would like to see a list of the POs for check. But we don't have a list. We have the POs, but we don't have a list. But that someone in their kind-heartedness decides to create that list for the person, we've just now gone in the wrong direction. The response should be, we do not have a list. So what I would really like it to be in here somewhere, that if a document is requested that is not in existence, that we do not create the document to fulfill the request, because we're not
It was
supposed to be
actually,
doing that.
Megan gave us at one time an actual, she gave us an email that had the actual reply
Right.
of what was supposed to be said, what constitutes a document, what does not, because it can really cause some legal turmoil
Yes.
if documents are created. Like, if you can't physically go pick it up and hand it to them, then it's not there. Obviously electronically, physically, you know what I'm saying, if it doesn't actually exist. So we have that somewhere. We should probably find that and add it to this. It's looking good though, it's looking
Yeah.
really good, and I love it.
And I appreciate all the work that you've put into
Yeah.
it.
And it's very nice and professional and, a lot of detail.
Well, and if somebody has questions or why they've been denied, I mean, they can be referred directly to this
Right.
resource as well, so that's good.
And I'm assuming the retention schedule that you put in here was from the policy where you updated it? Okay.
It's not as pretty as the one in the policy, but
It works though.
I can make it pretty.
So this action item, I would move that we table it until we get clarification on the records and the reply, and also the, what were we just asking about the, statute? You said it's in statute,
That was for the
The fee waiver.
public,
oh, okay, yeah, until
Yeah.
we get verification on all
because I
that.
thought it was just hardship, but.
But it looks great. I love all the references and they're all
Mhm.
linked right in, that's perfect.
I will second.
So we have a motion and a second to table the handbook. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to discussion items. The IBB workshop date. One thing that I just noticed whatnot in here, on your, it would be on page, where did it go? Sorry, I couldn't make notes, so I have to find it again. Oh, on page 4, your IBB team agreement, draft negotiated agreement, it says when the IBB team reaches consensus on the negotiated agreement, the following steps occur. Again, we have the LEA ratifying it, and then it's coming to the board for ratification.
I'll flip it.
Okay, yeah, the board needs to ratify it before it goes before the LEA.
Done.
Because if we ratify it and they ratify it, then it comes back to us for, acceptance, approval, whatnot, okay?
So you guys ratify it and then we want it to go to them, basically, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Just
And then it
clarify.
comes.
Back to us
It comes
for-
back to us with okay,
As an
we're
action
done.
item,
Yeah.
right?
That they accepted it,
Mhm.
correct, okay.
appreciate that you did this too, just to have a guidance and an outline that, so everybody knows what that process is gonna look like. And
I'm a referee, as you know, and I can tell you right now, I'm pretty good at what I do because I know the rules, but it's been established, and I still think there's something I'm gonna be missing here or there, so that's the best part about it. We'll work through it and add as we go. But yeah, I agree, 100%. I think once we understand the process a little bit better, I think we'll get a better product out of it. And obviously, I'll communicate to you guys, Jason and I have met, and we made some changes, so, already.
So you're creating a subcommittee of IBB for the problem solution session team?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
And the idea behind that, as you read through it, is basically, we take the current negotiated agreement, which has been approved by the board, and we'd be meeting with the association on a regular basis and just, talking about, there are the concerns and changes that, we need to look towards the future. We're just trying to get ahead of some things so we can bring some working things to the IBB. No decisions will be made in those subcommittees. Again, just trying to, make sure it's very clear when we get to IBB, some of the things that we're trying to adopt. There is no surprises. Everyone knows what we're dealing with.
On the PSST team membership and scheduled meetings, it says the LEA submits items for discussion to the superintendent.
What page? I'm sorry, Michelle.
2.
Page 2. Okay. Okay.
Both related to the current negotiated agreement and potential items. Oh wait, no, where was it? It was. Well, it's where, maybe I'm on the wrong. Where did it go?
Sorry, got you off track.
That's okay.
That page 2 just needs the numbers.
I just totally lost it.
There's agenda setting. The LEA will submit items to discussion to the superintendent, both related to the current negotiated agreement and potential items for next year's draft, at least 1 week prior to each meeting. That's on page 2, right?
Yeah, that's what I was reading through. So then, when are you submitting these to the board for an understanding of what we want to approach for next year?
So I think, and again, the board, I'm looking for your direction in this.
Okay.
It was recommended that basically we would meet together as a board, and you would give me your priorities, and those are things that I can present in the subcommittee, and so now you know what we're working on. I can give updates in regards to what the subcommittee is working on to the board, as I do regularly with you guys. So.
Well, hopefully, I mean, with going to this new process, we can, because been trying for many years to get things
Yes, ma'am.
fixed. So I'm hoping once that is resolved,
Yeah.
then the goal would be hopefully to have a smoother flow, that there wouldn't be struggles or frustrations, so to
Agreed.
speak.
100%. I think the more that we get in front of what the board's expectations are and the areas that you want us to work in, I think that would be very beneficial to the subcommittee, so that we can iron out those. And then you guys make it very clear to me, and I can obviously present it in the subcommittee what the board is really looking towards, and hopefully we can find the middle.
Question.
Yes, sir.
The guidelines, that you have them outlined here, is the intent of that to replace the procedural agreement that was adopted, what, 2 years ago or 3 years ago? I can't remember, Jason.
I'll be honest with you, the only procedural agreement that I found was from 2008. So
We adopted one just 2 or 3 years ago.
I'll take a look and do the research on it, but yes, that would be the intent.
Because we want to make sure, again, my question is whether this is designed to replace that or go alongside
To
of it.
supplement.
I think a lot of it, and just looking at the process, and not reading the document itself, a lot of it is very, very similar, if that's what it reads.
Some of it is, some of it's quite different.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, from the 2008 document, that's where I kinda got, they had meet and confer. I think it was during
Yes,
your time.
that's correct.
And that's where I kinda pulled a subcommittee
Right,
approach out.
right,
So I thought it was a really good idea. So that's where I stole it from.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I found in my research, and I apologize if I didn't.
Yeah, we did an updated version of that,
Okay.
not too long ago.
Well, I'll put it on my notes to definitely see if I can find it, maybe bring the two together and we
Yeah.
can look at it. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And you said 2 years ago?
I think it was it 2 years or 3 years? It was within that range anyway.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you, sir.
I can probably forward
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Thank you.
We are broken to one of this.
I researched all my files, I couldn't find it anywhere. The only one I found was the old one. Old one.
I
I
can't.
may have a copy of that
Yeah,
more
I
current
can-
one at home.
Do we need to have any further discussion on the IDB?
When are we gonna decide who's gonna be on that team as far as school board members?
Well, I do believe that there's a workshop date that we need to figure out. And maybe at the workshop date, we can make some determinations on that.
Okay.
And
Sounds good to me.
and it would be great if you two could give us priorities during that workshop, it'd be awesome for the board.
If what could be the priority.
Just define priorities, or if we have the discussion on it at least, and I don't know if you have to approve it as a board, or the recommendations for the subcommittee, if we do approve the procedure.
Our priorities
Yeah,
for what
your-
will
Oh,
be discussed.
got you.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Cause that'll let us get started and get to work.
So when do we wanna have that meeting?
I don't know. Everybody take your phone out, look at your calendars.
I do have a trip back to, Arizona next week, so I just want you to know, so after that.
Well, I'm gonna be in Boise next week, so.
Oh, there you go, so that works for both of us.
Traveling people.
I'm pretty open
That's right.
after that.
Wait, so when are you traveling? I'm sorry, I was focused.
It's
on
next week.
Next week,
I'm
okay.
Trustee,
Well-
is traveling too, so.
What if we looked for the first part of, like, the first week in October?
Mhm. I'm fine with that. Well, we have a special board meeting
hunting
on
off.
the first.
Yes.
Do we have stuff for that? Are we gonna actually have it, or are we gonna? Do we need
We
to have it?
have to have a executive session.
Yep.
Okay.
For, it's a student issue.
Okay.
Early in the year for that.
It happened, it happened, and then it's the 1 year term, basically. It's nothing new, it's old business.
Excuse me.
We could do the 8th,
October.
that being
Okay.
Wednesday. Would that work?
I'm good with that.
Would they come up with
The 8th of October?
8th of October?
It's a Wednesday, Bob. Shouldn't interfere with
Wow.
your Tuesday
It would be-
activities.
It's vacant.
The 1st, the 8th, the 15th. Not anymore. We just filled it.
I guess so.
Are you gonna, you'll send out an invite?
Yeah.
We shouldn't leave Bob with any empty days. He likes to be busy.
Fill all 5 Wednesdays in October.
for a retired guy, he's really busy.
You'd be surprised.
He's not
Been there
retired.
3 weeks in a row then.
What time would you guys like that for?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock?
Yeah.
I'm honored.
And hey, we finished the other one early, so maybe we could finish this one early.
Okay.
You brought it up.
We are cruising along.
We are.
Okay.
We're doing very well.
For a full
You're
meeting, we are
correct.
cruising along. Alright, so we have the date. Policy, now, policy has been added as a first read again, and then we'll come back next board meeting for approval. We are working on the policy for policy, so. Do we have any conversation on the minor corrections to 40,000? See, this is, this
No.
is silly. I really think it should, okay. And then the local school wellness, which we have in there.
Same
Oh,
one.
it didn't get uploaded correctly. It's the 44,000 one. Alright,
Uh-oh.
so
Are we
then,
doing that twice? Is that what we're doing?
no, we just didn't get the right copy.
Oh.
It was a honest mistake. So
I
there
was
is
really
none.
excited about the 4,000 one, guys.
Yes. 2 clerical corrections. Alright, so moving on to the transportation comparison. So Jessica, please help educate us on what we're looking at. I see a 24-25 school map and a 25-26 school map. That looks like it runs 3 or 4 routes, and now we're down to 2.
So outgoing transportation director Jessica Daynard did an outstanding job of outlining the differences between this year and last year.
Mhm.
She's only presenting the routes that were impacted. If a route wasn't impacted, it wasn't included on this list. The board asked for the number of students that were registered for those stops last year to know the impact, not families, students. So you'll see a lot of the times the 2 kids at one spot are a family, but for the one that you're looking at, this Lakeland Middle School, Lakeland High School, Stinson Loop area, we consolidated 3 stops into 1 stop. So the 24-25 school map, you'll see that there is a 6, 7, 8 on the 24-25 school map. That is now stop 11 on the 25-26 map. So for those 6, 7 kids in that zone, they're now actually just walking to spot 11 instead of having the bus stop at 6, 7, and 8. For most of these students in this one, they're actually closer than where they were getting picked up before. Transportation Director Daynard did include that information on there. So for example, on that middle one, that North Stinson Loop and North Cutlass Street, that was moved to North Crusader and Stinson Loop. It moved it to one centralized spot for that neighborhood. The student's about 170 feet from the new stop, closer than the old stop. A student's 0.1 miles from the new stop. A student is 10 feet closer to the new stop, and 1 student graduated. And so it's only impacting really 3 for this year. She couldn't give you the full look of what it looks like for this year, because at the time that this information was prepared, not every student was registered for routes for this year, because everybody had to re-register for routes this year. So we're looking at of who was riding the bus, or registered to ride the bus last year, how many students that were impacted with these changes.
But she was doing the report pretty close to school starting, so it would just be the additional ones that
Yeah,
were,
that-
that came on.
So every single one of these pages reflects an area. So she's got the schools that are being served by that route, the area that's being served, and then only the changes are being reflected. If you see two colors in a map, that used to be covered by two separate routes. So on the map that's on the screen currently, you can see purple and a red. Now that is being consolidated into just one route. And again, that's part of us consolidating some of those stops. Creating, this one specifically has a non-transportation zone. If you're looking at that 25-26 map, you can see that there's that big red area up kind of towards the top. They come down now to stop 15 or 16 if they would like to ride the bus, and then because it is a little bit further than the 1.5 miles, they are eligible for in lieu of transportation to that new bus stop. We tried to minimize as much so that we weren't having to have parents be in that situation that they had to qualify for in lieu of transportation, but there's just some instances where it was a safety. It's hard to get up some of these back roads to pick up kids, so we made a more centralized stop for that. So again, Jessica did a ton of work to show the differences between the two, the number of riders that were registered that were impacted by these, and specifically only the changes to those specific routes. This packet, this comparison, does not include the routes that we spoke about earlier that are being added back in. That was a recent decision, so we haven't had the time to update this. She said this took her about 30 hours to complete.
But it'd be great for the new director.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic. So the little tiny colored dots that you see on the map are where the registered student lives, and then the bigger dots with the numbers are the route stops.
So within the city limits of Spirit Lake, there are no bus routes?
Yep.
Okay. But the Athwell Elementary, Clagstone, Bruner area, it shows we had just a really small, and now we have really large, or are those reversed?
It's just the way that the bus travels is my understanding. So if you notice in the 24-25 map, the arrows, they're coming down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And now instead of coming down the road and exiting there, they're actually coming up a different way. And
What page is that?
It
It's
is.
page
Sorry.
15.
You're almost there. So in the areas that Jessica was able to add, okay,
That
so
one.
this is one specifically. They used to come all the way down to the stop at 2 and go out, and now they pick up at 13. It's just a safer spot to pick up than where 2 was previously. And from my understanding, the kiddo down at 2 is not there anymore, is what I think it was.
I can't remember if that's the
I
elementary route, and
can't
now I
read,
think they're middle school.
Yeah, I think they're middle school is what she had
That's
said,
what she was
so.
telling me.
So it's actually closer to the kid, the dot up there.
The student that's left.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, and
Currently
it's a
living in
safer
that
spot
zone.
for them
Mhm.
to go. It's easier for them to maneuver the bus at that location. That was a lot of this too, is are we able to safely turn the bus around? Is it a more appropriate method of travel, direction of travel, so that they're not trying to make these turns or go 3 miles out of the way to come back, which we've had to do in some instances.
So we travel this big, long route to pick up one student?
Right,
Is that
so now we're
correct?
centralizing it up at the new spot so that it's, we don't have to go all the way down that road anymore.
Well, it looks like we're going all the way around, so I don't know if I'm misreading what's written, or,
So now she's coming,
cause the red line for
Right.
travel is around the whole section.
but it's, if you zoom in a little bit and you can see the arrows, I'm gonna walk over here, I apologize. So if you can scroll down, this is just the boundary line, can you go up? Sorry, scroll up, sorry. This is the boundary line.
Yeah.
The bus is actually coming this way and then going up this way now, where before it came this way and down. So you're seeing the red of the boundary line, not necessarily the direction of the bus travel. So now instead of coming all the way down Flagstone and going out, they're stopping at 13, and then because I don't have a directional on this, then they're going north.
Yep.
Okay.
So they're
Okay.
coming into this stop from right here. This line right here is the arrow line.
Right.
And then out that way. Where
So they're
they
not
used to come
going
all the
down.
way down and then out that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So I apologize, she was trying really hard to make the graphics work, but as you know, some of our territories are very large, and trying to get all of the information into one picture, is a little bit challenging.
Mhm.
And I got to reformat all of these because her pictures were off to the side before, so I had to move them all down below so that I could give you it two on one sheet instead of having a big scrolling page for trying to make it a little bit easier.
So we removed two stops there. So the routes that were of significant, well, there's a lot done up in Apple.
And
Tremendous
I
amount.
did read a list 2 days earlier, be happy to put that in my follow-up for next month. I didn't have a chance to document it before the board packet was due. But the routes that we are reinstating are taking care of a lot of those, safety concerns that were raised in the Apple routes specifically. So a lot of those, like that Homestead and, Vintage, there's a couple diagonal stops, Silver Meadows, Hunter's Glen, Massive, Inspire. Those are all being taken care of with this new route that we're reinstating. That will also take care of a sped, transportation.
Yep, and we might make note of that because, the last couple of times we did with bus routes, we're always reinstating diagonal. For some reason, and I was looking at some of these student numbers, they're even off because the one bus stop is like across from my house and I see there's more than 3 kids there guaranteed. So, maybe make note for whomever's incoming that these are problem areas. For some reason, we always think we can reroute or cut or something, and every year, specifically diagonal for sure. Some on Brunner, anything north of Athol, and also the other, which this one didn't seem to be too much, I haven't heard that much, but also out the, Good Hope Bunko area. There's a lot of students out there, but maybe the next person coming in, they can just have that in the back of their head, that these
Yeah.
are areas that we always revisit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, maybe we can bypass some of this. Yeah, I do see those are a number of students that were registered, so maybe the kids came later or whatever,
That's
but,
probably,
Or if we do have instances where maybe they're in a non-transportation zone and they're coming to that stop to be picked up versus the stop that they live closest to. We do have that a lot.
yeah.
It's something that we've had a discussion about, myself and Jessica, about, we don't have a policy, so we have some students that are registered for 3 different bus stops.
Mhm.
So that's a little tricky. But the district doesn't have a policy that says they can't register for 3 different bus stops.
Sometimes it's
Why
mom's
would
house
they
and some-
register for, I guess I would be more curious as to why they feel they have to register, what are they?
Depends on, so if say grandma watches them Monday, Wednesday,
Oh.
Friday after school, say they have split households, and one parent has them one week, the
Yeah.
other parent has them another. There's definitely reasons, they're
Mhm.
justifiable reasons to have registrations for multiple stops. So, I mean, I remember as a kid, I got told to get dropped off at a friend's house and it wasn't on a stop and I couldn't get off, so that was a fun thing. So we're just trying to be super accommodating, but as we have condensed these routes and we're filling the buses to
Right.
capacity at some of these, we have 63 kids on the buses, which is what we're allowed to have. That's something that we might not be able to accommodate in the future if we're adding kids to a stop that maybe don't live in that specific spot.
Sure.
We might have to adjust that. We just don't have a policy or a protocol around that now, so that's something that we're researching, because we wanna meet the needs of the children that live in that zone
Mhm.
for transportation, before we accept those,
Yeah.
additional requests, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I just wonder how
Food for
that
thought.
would work, being that Idaho has become open, basically anywhere, I mean, so how could you even do that? Because if the law says you can go to school anywhere you wanna go to school, if you're a resident of Idaho, I mean, if I had kids in school, they could choose to go to Bonner's Ferry, I mean, so I
So-
wonder how that would work.
So, and I'm researching that because there was a recent change in the legislation there as well, but my understanding is we would have to provide them transportation, but they would have to come to one of our stops to get transportation.
Gotcha.
So if they're coming from Post Falls, they could easily be picked up maybe at one of the Hauser
A
stops.
house or something.
But we're not required to go to Post Falls to get
Right,
them.
right, oh yeah, no,
so-
of course, yeah, but I was just thinking if,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's one of the challenges with open enrollment,
Mhm.
for sure.
Okay, well, maybe I can look at this more with the other, I just found the ones that, I think these are some of the ones that she shared with us.
Have we thought more about single routing? No?
At this point, I am concerned, Rusty, you can speak to this as well.
Yep.
Going to single routing would reduce driver hours, which would not have them in benefits, which would make it very, very difficult to hire drivers. We already have a hard time hiring drivers. That is something that's keeping us competitive. Post Falls for sure, their drivers are benefited. It's definitely something we can continue to do, but it's kind of one of those hard things until you put it into action. It's a difficult thing to say. I mean, yes, we do get reimbursed on driver salaries, miles, all that fun stuff, the ridership, all that. And we obviously wanna have as full buses as we can. Gone are the days of someone seeing a bus with 18 kids going by, cause that's not the case right now. But.
Well, and I like, and again, read and adjust. I mean, obviously made some huge changes last year, and I think we're getting to a pretty good spot right now. I think if it's something that we feel like would make it better for our students, because we're gonna go students first, I think we could take a really serious look at it. But from every indicator that I've gotten, and trust me, in Arizona we had the same problem trying to find drivers, and it was a unique approach. It's probably what Arizona's gonna do, where they are gonna benefit them, because what we had to do is hire drivers and then add them as a custodial staff or something like that, you know, because otherwise they would just quit. So,
There's definitely a lot that goes into it. Our school times are staggered around these double routes right now. So just looking at all of the far-reaching impacts of that, if we have to go later in the afternoon and then those routes are longer because they're single routes, how does that look? What time are kids getting home? That kind of stuff. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's definitely something that's a topic of conversation, and as we get a new transportation director onboarded and they've got their feet under them, that's definitely something that we're gonna have a long conversation about. Hopefully they have some expertise in that area.
I just wanna make sure that if it benefits students,
Yep.
that's still on the table if
Absolutely.
it were ever to.
But I have major concerns about keeping driver staff.
Understood.
Yep.
Well, that reimbursement, is that just their salary portion, is it, or is it because it's a
I have to go double
percentage?
look. It's one of those things that we prepare once a year, so, and Chelsea, is the one that's currently preparing it, so I can't speak eloquently to it tonight, but I will make sure I have the answer for you. I believe it's, their wages and a portion of their benefits, but I don't know if it's what benefits specifically it is.
Okay.
Like, I know we can't charge our workers' comp, we charge a prorated amount of workman's comp there. We can't charge the whole thing to the pupil transportation, so there's some nuances there, but I will get that for you.
That's silly.
Yeah, Trustee Grissom had requested the breakout of what we can claim on the claim and what rates they are, so I'll make sure that's part of that.
Okay.
Can I answer any additional questions?
Oh, I'm fine. I appreciate it.
Thank you, this was awesome to see,
Yeah.
just to have it
I told you guys you would love it.
on paper, to see those differences
Yeah.
and see how they were consolidated and how those bus stops changed.
I did tell her to prepare for the fact that this might be the standard moving forward of how you would like to see those adjustments, because I do think the visual and the information is so useful.
no, I like the data when it comes to it. What are we dealing with when it comes to kids? Because that should drive our buses and, so to speak.
Yeah.
Jessica's done, I know she's leaving us, but it goes without saying, she has had a huge lift with all of these changes, and she's handled it extremely well. I'm really disappointed to be losing her expertise, her dedication to this district. She's got an amazing opportunity and I'm excited for her, but it is a huge loss to our district to be losing that individual. So I'm very hopeful. Whenever someone leaves, it's always an opportunity, so I'm trying to be positive about it, but she's just done such a great job with our transportation department, that it's gonna be a hard one to replace.
She's at least set the foundation for us.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we need to have a conversation on the FL bus routes?
I think we did earlier, but, regarding the Highway 95 and Vintage 95 and, Homestead, all these roads that keep changing names on me. As long as that's gonna be, and it sounded like, Rusty already talked to the other parents and,
Again,
as
good
long as
news.
that's gonna be reinstated, do we know when that might be
It's
reinstated?
all about drivers.
Yeah,
And
it's
once we,
so like I need to talk to you from the
Sorry,
check.
Becky.
That we had hired a driver to take on that route, but we had another driver resign, so we had to slip that new driver into the existing route, because we need to honor the kids that we're already serving with that. So as soon as we can hire another driver, we'll be able to get that route started. The Twin Lake Elementary adjustment that we talked about on Route 11, that begins on 9/22, so next Monday.
Jake can do that in his spare time.
Oh, yes, yeah. I don't think he has his DOT physical or his CDL yet, so, we'll get on that.
I'll take care of that this weekend, but-
Okay.
you got that?
So I guess my question is, why can't, so is there not gonna be any driver out there, or is there a driver still going to the Dollar General?
They're still going right now until we can get this new route up and running. They still have transportation we just can't make the changes that I talked about until we're able to hire a new driver.
So why can't that driver drive 2.6 miles further up the road to pick up those kids and turn around?
It would make them late to other stops right now, so that's what we're trying to fix is if we made that adjustment now, it would push everything back and get kids to school later, it would get other kids home. We're really just trying to fix it, especially because these are the high school routes, so they have to get to the elementary schools as soon as they're done. That makes them pick up even later at the schools after they drop off. So we have looked at it
It
a
was my
lot to try to make those
understanding-
adjustments.
Yeah, it was my understanding, and I could be wrong, but all those students that are there actually were up at the other bus stop. So if that bus stop is reinstated, why would we still need a Dollar General? Have we
That will
talked to
go away.
those?
That's going
So
away.
that's going away as soon as we can reinstate the new
So
route.
we can't get rid of Dollar General now and that driver just drive 2 more miles? That 2 miles is gonna add that much
Yes,
time to the.
because of the length of the road and the turnaround on that road, yes. We are not able to do it right now without completely jeopardizing the rest of the schedule. As soon as we're able to hire a new driver, that Dollar General stop will disappear because it's going on a completely different route and they'll be able to make that stop. So as soon as I can hire a new driver and get them onboarded and trained on their route, they will be making that adjustment and families will get that communication as soon as it's ready.
Okay.
Well said.
Are we looking or hiring or?
Yes,
I mean,
it's
have
been
we had
posted since last week.
interviews or- okay.
We already
And like I
hired
said,
one.
we
We
already
hired one.
hired one, but we
Okay.
had a driver quit, so
Yep, yep.
I needed the new driver.
I just wanna make sure with bus drivers, we're not, and this is more of a Brooke question, we're hiring, we hire, we take it down, and then they quit, and then we put it back up. Are we just keeping it up?
So
Like a
what,
pool.
yes, we keep up, it's a relief driver position that we keep up. And that's why, and we're always continually trying to collect people, and once Jessica sees that we have an applicant, she is in a hurry to try to get them trained and
Jessica.
onboarded and everything, so yeah.
Okay.
It's a continuing pool.
For a relief driver, but we need a full-time driver right
Yes,
now,
well,
or are
that
they
is-
the same thing? I
So
don't
what
know.
they do is they onboard a relief driver
Okay.
first.
And then we
And
bid the
then-
route,
and
and
then-
if the relief driver bids the route and gets the route, then we rehire a relief driver. And so in this instance, that's what happened. Our relief driver bid for the route and got the route, but then we had somebody else leave, so they got pushed into a different route.
What do you mean by bids the route?
Oh, so how they do routes over there, because there's different hours related to different routes. For example, our sped routes are often 8 hours a day, where some of the other routes are 6 hours a day. Based on seniority, they get to bid for their route at the beginning of every year. And so it's basically like you would bid for a shift. If you have seniority and you don't wanna work on the weekends, you get to bid for that Monday through Friday shift if the business is open all 7 days. So it's something similar to that. So employees with a longer longevity and good,
Safety record.
good records, yeah. They're the ones that get basically first pick of the routes. So they say, I would like route 68, I'm throwing numbers out there, I can't even tell you.
It's fine.
But they can say, I do 68, 63, or 11. And if a route driver that's got 20 years of experience wants 68, and a route driver with 2 years of experience wants 68, the route driver of 20 years gets the 68.
Okay.
So that's the bid process essentially, is we allow them to kind of pick their route
Okay.
based on seniority and whether or not they're a good driver.
Okay.
So
We don't have any bad drivers.
we don't, no, and it helps retain drivers, it really does.
Really great drivers,
Yeah.
and then it's the ones that are just great. All right,
Yes.
so.
Can I answer any other question?
I don't have any. I don't think we need action, sounds like action's already been taken on Ethel, I'll trust that's gonna happen quickly. So at least it gives the families some hope of going back to what works, you know, for everyone out there. I just wish we had more of a definite date, but if we don't have a person, we don't have a person. Cause my understanding is that Dollar General, we won't even need it anymore, cause all those kids at Dollar General got moved from that route. you know.
So yes, they will no longer be the Dollar General spot. We had offered to put them, to drop them at
After.
Bethel. That wasn't a great solution after the first couple of days of doing that. They didn't, the families weren't.
Well, you have to remember, it's, and a lot of people out there, because you have, on and off ramp right there, and you have, so much traffic and a gas station, they are concerned if you've got a bunch of kids out there, you have all these people coming and going out. I mean, it'd be really easy for some weirdo to abduct a child and be gone, because there's so much traffic there now with all the on-ramp, you know, on and off ramps
So
and stuff.
we're addressing it as quickly as we
Yeah.
can.
And there's, of course, no, you know, I think they have a painted line on the road, but I mean, it's a major highway, and it's constantly, yeah, it's just, needs something else done out there, it needs a roundabout, but.
So you want a new route?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
A roundabout?
Trustee
Yeah.
Kirsten, would you
We
like to
can't do that,
drive
right?
the bus?
Yeah. They probably wouldn't like me as a bus driver, but I would drive the bus. No, I just want the old route reinstated so everybody can go back to normalcy and people are happy with the district and wanna stay, and,
Right.
you know, we don't want people, it's just better if everybody's as happy as we can make them, you know, make their life as. And some of them, you know, like the one that they took away at the county line in Roberts Road, I mean, that's been a bus stop for 100 years. And there's so many people out there and they moved it. I'm like, why would you do that? That's been there, it's generational establishment, you know, and then they moved it. Now, I don't know if they just don't understand, maybe I guess they look at the registration, and maybe you need to let the parents know, like, they need to make sure people understand where they're at and get their address and all that in, or something, because there's a lot of people out there in the woods.
Trustee Grissom, I do wanna say thank you for turning those people our direction and
Yeah.
letting us work through those problems.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, I appreciate it getting done, they just, you know, they come to us because they vote for us, and they expect us to,
Yep.
you know, and when they feel like they're not getting somewhere with the district is the only time we really hear from them.
Yeah.
Sounds good, but thank you
Yeah.
for your help with that.
Yep. I have no other input.
Okay. Are we good to move on to the superintendent evaluation work session date?
We have one more thing.
Nope,
Hiring
we have
practices.
hiring.
Oh, we do, sorry, Brooke. Brooke's like,
Okay,
thanks.
like,
I'll be
yes,
real,
please.
I'll just be real quick anyways. So you guys have a memo in there of things that I've changed. And then attached to that memo, there's a blank page that's after that memo, but after that blank page, there's procedures regarding, this is in our admin handbook, regarding steps on how to hire a certified employee and a classified employee. So a couple of the changes that I have made, or we have made as a team, as far as position postings, prior the procedures had allowed for an internal, like on extracurriculars, not teaching or anything, but on extracurriculars if there was an opening. And this mainly happened at the middle school level because middle schools are really hard to hire for coaches. They would ask internally if there was anybody interested. And if they didn't have anybody that was interested, then they would post it internally, district-wide or externally. And now we're just gonna eliminate the in-building email and just have them either post it internal, district-wide, or both external, internal. And then the other thing that we're gonna do to streamline the interview process, a couple of administrations ago, we had they wanted a super aggressive interview process in order to hire the best people. Multiple panels in the past did work. I am now finding over the past year or two, they are no longer working. We just have people that have conflicting decisions from each panel, then we come back together, and then it's just not streamlined. So we are gonna change it to just one big panel with key stakeholders that are involved with that position. And so then during this time too, of course.
Well, okay, let me stop you real quick. With respect to the key stakeholders with regard to that position, when it is an extracurricular, who are those key stakeholders?
So, I mean, that's up to the principal to decide at the building level.
Okay.
But I would say it would probably include their athletic director, maybe another coach,
Okay.
and that type of thing.
Okay.
So, but that is up to the building to decide,
Okay.
who those key stakeholders are.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Good clarification, thank you.
And then during us reviewing all of this, because I'm all caught up in procedures and you're all caught up in policy, we found that the policy needed to be updated because it had not been updated since what?
2008.
Yeah. So, Rusty Taylor does have this going, to policy committee for, review.
So we're gonna update the policy too.
It was updated in 2011.
Oh,
Well,
sorry.
so it's still a long
It
time
was
ago.
adopted in 08.
Yeah, and
Oh,
our
but yes.
procedures actually started changing in 2016, and that policy should have been updated along with those procedures, but
Right.
it wasn't.
I have a question. So that old policy was in the admin handbook, right?
No, that
No.
policy was
That
not in the.
hiring with internal?
That was,
Because that's what I was
no,
told.
what is in our admin handbook are these procedures that I have attached, and we've updated the procedures now to follow in line with what we've currently changed.
I'm just saying though, our admin handbook should align with our policies on everything.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
and that's what we're doing.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. Thank you for your help on that, I appreciate it.
Wait, was there a problem?
Well, yeah, they're letting principals just put in whoever they wanted without letting it go to the district, so people in the district couldn't even put in for a job at another school because they would hire internally, so the job wouldn't even go out. So we're not getting the most qualified people. And it says we're gonna hire the most qualified, most trained, best for kids in the district. So we weren't doing that. We're just giving it to people internally.
So we made a change.
Oh, so internally within the building rather
Yeah.
than internally within the
The school
district.
We
district.
wanted
Okay.
to, we wanted
Okay.
to compete.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
And I agree, I thought that was a great idea, because we do want the best people.
Cause I've talked to teachers before and they're like, I can't even put in for a job because they don't open it up.
We're gonna change that, so that's, well, it's already changed. Yeah.
And I will send out the new procedures, or Mr. Massey will send them out to principals tomorrow, now that you guys have reviewed this.
Okay, perfect.
And then the stakeholders, I mean, I don't know, I would not, I mean, even if we've disbanded all those groups, cause I agree, that was a lot. I mean, unless it's for maybe superintendent or something,
Right,
maybe we would go back to
exactly.
that.
Yep,
But for in the buildings, I think that's a lot.
it is.
But I would be happy if we still had a nice mix of a parent and a this and, you know what I'm saying, the student
Yep.
on that in the panel, in the building when the decision was made, especially if it's for extracurriculars, I think the parents and the students are, important in
It'll
that
be highly
decision
encouraged,
process.
absolutely.
We just need to involve our clubs, I think, because the clubs are working really hard to make our sports better and nobody's even talking to them. And they help, they feed this district,
Yeah.
you know, they donate money, they fix our fields, they do all kinds of stuff and nobody's even asking them anything. So we just need to
Well,
communicate better, that's all.
Yeah, I agree, but I would encourage those, those people that are in those club organizations to also go talk to those principals and say, look.
Right.
Because we know they're really busy. You know
Right.
that already.
Yeah. No, I
Maybe
get
they
it.
won't have the time to do it, but alls we ask is talk to those principals, and that'll help them to create those teams.
Yep.
I think send an email,
Yep.
pick up the phone real quick or something, yeah. Okay. Good job.
I'm glad to see that they're going to start aligning.
So do we need to take action on this to approve it?
No.
No? Okay.
It was their, protocols
Their
that were being
internal
modified.
process?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
And, and then we need to pick a date for the superintendent evaluation workshop.
I heard Bob has 5 Wednesdays available.
I don't know if you got that?
Whoa.
Oh, look at that look.
I just got caught in the crossfire of that. I felt that one deep.
I'm wondering if we can do double duty on maybe the 8th. Is it the 8th that we set out? The IBB?
Oh, yeah.
So we can do double duty. I mean, I think I've written most of it, guys. I think
Sure.
you know.
I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm good.
it'll be. I've done a lot of the work for you guys. I just now, all I have to do is write procedurally how we're gonna follow with the evaluation. I've rewritten the whole thing. I think you guys will like it a lot, and then anything additional that you want. I have some areas for performance goals that you guys can we'll write together and kind of set those things. So.
Okay.
And it's not 800 pages long?
No, in fact, I think you're gonna love it, and it's a program that I've written. So I think you guys will like that. I'll show that to you.
One page, be 1 page.
We can do that. I'll work on it.
Clarify and simplify.
Oh, look at you, Jake.
Kiss.
Can you send it ahead of time to us if you?
Absolutely,
Okay,
I have no
perfect.
problem with that. I've got everything ready to go, plus one of the things that I would like to add, but I'm not gonna call it 360 review, but it is a employee feedback form that I'll send out to everyone.
Mhm.
I've written that all up so you guys can take a look at it. I think it's important that you guys know what the staff thinks and get the feedback from them. I've done it at every school site I've been at, and yes, sometimes those are rough. I'm gonna be honest with you, but as long as we know that I'm gonna take that information and get better from it, that's what it's about, okay? So just no, but I think that's important in the total evaluation, so you guys will have a clear picture of not just the board meetings, but also outside.
Sure, perfect, thank you.
What do you mean with not just the board meetings?
You getting opinions from staff, is what I'm saying.
He's talking about
in the review.
surveys, you know,
Feedback.
reviews.
Right.
So
But
what
are
I
you
do
asking
is.
them about the board meetings?
No.
Oh, okay,
So-
that's where I'm like.
You see me here.
I understand.
It'd be great. Well, I think you see me here. But no, it's just outside the board. You know, what is Rusty doing? What are you seeing? What's the feedback from
Okay.
our staff? Again,
Okay.
I think it's just going to.
So it's all about you, which it should
Well,
be.
yeah, it
should
should
be.
be.
That's no. There's just
Yeah,
been
it is
things in
all
the past, so
great,
I'm
but,
just
you know,
trying to make sure.
But you'll see it too, okay? All right. So,
Perfect.
and if we want to add things, we'll go for it, okay?
Okay.
All
It's
right.
the Rusty show.
Yeah, no, that made me. That feels bad. All right. Sorry.
All right. So then we have dates to remember, and
Well, the big one is you got to go to the homecoming. It's our very first homecoming parade, guys. And
Yeah.
Jake we're there along with
It's gonna be
Brooke
awesome.
and Jessica, and we're looking forward to passing candy out.
Blue and gold.
We're gonna have to go
I
home.
can't wait to see you all in blue and gold.
We
We
have our
did
shirts.
the gold last week,
Yeah,
so
we
we're
did it.
excited to go blue
Yeah.
and gold this week,
Good.
so it'll
It
be
was
fun.
so much fun. And then, of course, we won the game. That was even better.
well, I do need to give a shout out, simply because I didn't do it under announcements. Got a little distracted. I'd like to give a shout out to Carrie Paquette. We all
Yes.
received an
Mhm.
email from her.
Yes.
And I'd like to congratulate her on being the Idaho Association of Collegiate Registrars and Administration Officers Region 1 Counselor of the Year.
Well, that's about
I
it.
think
Again,
that-
for the
for
third
the
time.
third time, that is very awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you
Good
for
job,
that.
Carrie.
So, yes. All right, so,
And can I just one other?
no.
Please. It's
no.
a big deal because we haven't done it in 20 years.
Said no.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
No.
What is it?
Oh, you know this, right? I was there. The girls beat Sandpoint 1-0. When I walked in and told my son, he's like, I'm like, So anyway, congratulations.
Yeah.
It was a
Yes.
great experience. It was
Yes.
so much fun. Great soccer. You get a chance to go check them out. Just do
I
it.
was at the last
So
game
fun.
that they won 20 plus years ago.
Oh,
So
wow.
My daughter was on the team, so.
For 29,
I was there.
29, you look good. Right? I just wanna say.
Right?
Yeah,
Right. So, all right.
The other thing I thought was really cool, and I can't remember her whole name, Terry Howell, was that her name? The gal that rode the horse and carried the flag for
Oh,
the
wow.
that
flag.
was awesome.
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
love that. Now we
That
have to
was
do it
awesome.
at Timberlake.
Timberlake started the tradition.
Oh, wow.
Wow, this was stolen.
7 years, 6, 7 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How come we've never
Yeah,
seen a picture?
I
I've never
did.
seen a picture of it.
We'll take care of
Yeah,
it.
we'll make sure that you,
I was so
everybody
impressed.
gets it. Yeah.
That was the highlight of the game in my mind.
Yeah.
Fireworks were good.
Yeah, that was so
Timberlake
cool.
started it the year that they started their FFA chapter.
Oh,
And they had their
makes
FFA
sense.
first.
Makes sense.
Well, I thought that was awesome.
Thank you, Chairman, for letting me shout that out.
Yeah, not a worry. Well, we all have our dates to remember. Is there any input for future agenda items?
I have one, maybe I can pose a quick question, but we own the 35 acres out here on the corner of Meyer and Lancaster.
For the pending high school someday in the
That-
future.
Jessica has the answer, I thought maybe. That property has been farmed regularly since we took ownership of it. Part of my question is, what is the working relationship of that? I mean, obviously somebody's making money off the crop. Are we getting any big piece of that?
So at this point in time, since I've been with the district, there has been no farm lease there that I am aware of. So I will be happy to
Free
reach out.
farming.
There
Can I
was-
graze my cows out
There
there?
was,
Yeah.
there was, but that's not something that I.
My sweet
If
crop
you're
was
paying
there
property
this year.
rent for the
The other piece of that
pasture
is,
rent.
there's a parcel right on the corner, I think it's 5 acres, I'm not
It's
sure.
a little tiny strip, and I've had so many people reach out to me about this, so thank you, because they're like, you're selling your property? No, there's a tiny, tiny, tiny strip right next to ours that is for sale. It just looks like it's ours, but it's not.
Yeah, it was, I think,
Yeah.
set aside for commercial or something of that sort.
Yeah.
Do you have any clue as to what they're asking for that?
I can look for you, but I don't
You know, the obvious question is, should we be looking at that to bring it, you know, as part of
Bring
our,
the full
our ownership?
Yeah.
piece. Well,
I don't think they're gonna let us buy it for the 200,000 we have set aside for land purchases right now.
No, maybe they'll donate it.
That we could.
I mean, that would be a great advantage to
We have
them.
We could
501c3
sell the
status,
11
you know.
acres in the middle of town.
They can donate that and take the
the
tax
tree
rate.
That's
piece
swap 'em.
behind, yeah.
But what is the official name of that? Because I only know the nickname and I'm not gonna repeat it at the board meetings.
I know the one that you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Huh?
I
The
don't
one
know.
in town?
The one in town, yes. You know what I'm
11
talking
acres?
about. Yes.
I can't say it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is it,
What are
is
the
it the one
roads
behind the
that-
high school, right?
It's the one behind Mountain View.
Yeah.
It's the it's the
Whatever.
tree piece that we talked about,
Right.
taking out the
You
trees
don't
and stuff.
remember? So you
But
can't
it's
say it.
behind,
Mhm.
yeah, it's
It's in
behind
the
the
middle
food
of-
service building and,
Yeah,
and
it's-
Mountain View.
Yeah.
The city
Yeah.
had approached us, or
Constance Wall.
brought it up at one point about maybe doing a land swap there, because they would like to use that for a green space, within the city. We didn't really go down that road, because that was, they're working on their city hall, and they had talked briefly about, swapping that land for the city hall building. That wasn't met with a warm reception, so that conversation hasn't happened again, but yes, we do have that acreage right behind food service and.
It's
Mountain View.
11 acres though,
Mhm,
right?
I think so. It might be
I think
7,
it's-
but
I
I'll
think
double
it's
check.
9.
So
But
we're
it's all
all over
rock.
the place.
It's
Yeah,
15,
it's
that's
all
all
rock.
rock.
It doesn't
So
matter. You can
the
build on
city
rock.
would like
That's
to make
equipment.
it a
Right.
park.
Yeah.
A park would be cool in there, actually.
Trails, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want their
But we
current
need
city
more.
hall nightmare. There's a reason they're leaving that city hall.
I understand that.
I was gonna say, we would need more than City Hall for the piece of property,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So,
Well, what's
but-
a lot cost these days? 250?
Depends on
Well,
who you're.
depends
Depends on where it's at,
Yeah.
location,
Mhm.
location.
But I will
Yeah.
find out for you, Trustee Jones, how much they're asking for that, and who is selling it specifically, so.
Yeah, and what the status is of whoever's farming our land.
Yeah, I'll try and figure that out as well.
Was it you?
I think I asked that question last year or the
You
year
did.
before, and
I
I think
mean-
I was told it was like a $1 lease.
It is a $1 lease, what I was able to find on it before, but like I said, since I've been with the district, that's not something that's come up.
Why?
So I will
would
look
you do
into it
that?
some more.
Because it needed it needed,
$1
there had to be a dollar amount, so
So
it was
it's a
just one.
consideration, but you know, is that lease forever or, you know?
I don't think so, so I will research it and have an update for you at the October 1st meeting.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Alright, anything else for input, Paul?
That's good.
Okay. Anybody else?
I don't know, Bob's got a few Wednesdays left.
What kind
I
of
would like
workshops
to-
do we need
Come
to
up with
have?
something, right?
Yeah, we need
Selfishly,
workshops.
I'd like to keep my Wednesdays.
I don't have any.
Oh wait, we need to keep the other ones open so that Ms.
Oh,
Dusick,
yes, yes,
Dupsick
yes.
can go to the city
Oh, that's
council
right,
meetings.
that's right. Alright, well, on that note, we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. It is 8:23.
Good job.